There's a saying that goes, spiritual seekers never find. And if we open our eyes and wake up to this truth, we'll see within ourselves what's holding us back from reaching that spiritual enlightenment that we're all seeking. And all we have to do to wake up to this fact is look around us. Most of us have been on a spiritual path. We've tried this method, we've gone to various retreats, and often we see the same people year after year. And if we look really closely, we'll see relatively little growth. Now, even though we show up and we have great conversations talking about love and oneness and unity and freedom, in reality, there's relatively little growth going on. All those people that we see, they have the same problems, the same struggles, they have the same repressed emotions, insecurities, and we can see that. We can't hide from that truth. So how do we cut through this BS of spirituality and really find that light at the end of the tunnel and go free ourselves? Well, in order to do this, let's examine 3 big obstacles that are in the way. And these aren't the only 3 obstacles, but over the years that I've been on the path myself, I've seen these 3 as key obstacles, obstructions to going all the way. Now, the first one is that we intellectualize it. And this just comes from a hunger for more knowledge. And so we want to read this book, and we want to read this other book, and another book, and another book. And we want to listen to this lecture, this talk from this master, whether it's Lester or Eckhart Tolle or Yogananda. And we want to listen to another talk, and another, and another. And are there more talks? And so we get into this lust for more information, more knowledge. And that's a mistake, because where all of these masters are coming from, they're all pointing out that you got to quiet the mind. You got to drop that mind, move beyond it into a higher understanding, a universal knowledge that's not coming from here. So what we got to do is stop looking for more information and do the simple steps that will actually get us there. Now, the second obstacle, the second mistake that we make that stops us from really going down this path is we're expecting someone or something to do it for us. Now, pardon my language, but basically, we're a bunch of lazy bastards when it comes down to it. We want it to be fast and easy. So that we're hoping we're going to come across the right guru, the right person that's just going to say the right thing, that'll click off that light bulb, and then we'll finally get it. Or we'll stumble across the perfect method, that it's going to pull out all of our limitations, all of our negativity. It's going to do it for us so we don't have to do it. But here is the mistake that we're making. We are giving our power away, and we're not taking responsibility for the fact that our limitations and negativity, we programmed into our mind, into our consciousness. And therefore, we must take every bit of that out. Now, that might imply it taking some work, it taking some time. It also might imply having to face some uncomfortable truths about ourselves that we have imposed upon ourselves. And if we want the easy route out, so we don't have to go through that work or face that darkness inside of us, that someone or something will take it out for us, that's a huge mistake. And we're just acting like babies. And we're kidding ourselves. It's time for us to get courageous and take it upon ourselves, because these masters, if you look at their stories about their own awakening, it was a process. They had to find their way They had to overcome their own darkness. And so must we. Now, the third obstacle that stands in our way is the fact that, in essence, we're a bunch of pleasure junkies. We like to seek pleasure and avoid suffering and pain. And we don't like to be pushed. We don't like to stand on uncertain or uncomfortable ground. And this is why we see so many people in the spiritual community that get a little bit of peace. Maybe they meditate, they're a little bit quieter. But they have this attitude of, hey, I am in a quiet, peaceful place, and don't rock the boat. Stay away from me with your negativity. Don't invade my peaceful space. And what they're doing is they're enclosing themselves in a little bit of a bubble, but that's a bubble of limitation. Because a true free one has no problem facing a world full of limitations, full of darkness, full of anger and hate, and standing up to it, being with every bit of it, even being open to it. And it's being open to all the darkness that enables us to rid ourselves of our remaining darkness, our remaining limitations, and enable us to go free. And here's the thing. Whether we are aware of it or not, this pushes us towards different methods that don't challenge us as much as other methods. So we tend to be drawn to the methods that are more feel-good. So we sing, we clap, we dance, we do things that feel a little bit uplifting, but really don't challenge us to drop our negativity and our limitations. And really what this is like, it's like settling for a little hot dog when there is a huge buffet around the corner. And it also has us hopping from one method to another, because, again, we may not be fully aware of this consciously, but we get a little bit out of this method, and then we move on and get a little bit out of another method, and then move on to another one and get a little bit out of that. And an analogy that explains what it is that we're doing, and the big mistake here is that if you're drilling for oil, do you want to just drill one hole and keep drilling deep until you reach oil? Or do you want to drill like a dozen different holes and only drill them like a third of the way or halfway and never reach an oil? You gotta do one thing and do it fully in order to get the maximum results. So here's the thing. If we are serious, really serious about achieving spiritual enlightenment, there are some key principles and methods that will actually get us there. And that's what I'm going to discuss and show you this coming Saturday at our free workshop in Bucharest. My goal for myself and all of us is complete freedom. So we're going to look at some definite ways to get there. I'm going to show you some real fast and easy ways. And in the meantime, if what I said here, these three obstacles, if they ring true to you, if you see this in yourself or you see this going on around you, share your experiences in the discussion here, in this event discussion. And if there are other obstacles that you've witnessed or you've experienced, then share them below. We'll address them, maybe even work on them this Saturday. And most of all, what we're going to look at is how to stop talking about it, how to stop looking for it, and find freedom. Step up to enlightenment and be a master ourselves.